So if I was going to start a print-on-demand business in 2026, I would follow the proven 3-step system that I'm going to be revealing on this episode. This is a system that I use to generate multiple millions in revenue across 2 apparel brands, but most importantly, it's a proven, repeatable system that you can apply to make more sales and grow your brand. This is no fluff, no BS, no gatekeeping. Let's go. My name is Adrian here with my co-host, Carlos Colon. Welcome to the Print on Demand podcast, a show dedicated to helping you make money online with Shopify and print on demand. What is up, my friends? Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the show. We are doing a full breakdown of the exact 3-step system that we would follow if we were going to start a new print-on-demand business in 2026. Our students have been using this system for years now to get their first 10,000, 100,000, and even multiple 6 figures in revenue in their first year. However, I have to warn you, I want to be real here. This system is not some overnight $1 million hack. Like, you actually have to take action, stay consistent, and commit at least a few hours a week to your business. But if you follow this system, you might actually be surprised by how quickly you start generating sales and how quickly your business grows. So stick with me because I'm going to break down this entire system. I also want to mention, we'll also list any tools that we use, love, and recommend in the show notes, along with any free trials, discounts, or special offers. Carlos, are you ready to rock?
Let's go.
All right, let's go. So let's just jump right in. Now, a lot of people overcomplicate this, myself included, when I first started out, which is why I want to lay things out very, very clearly. Now, there are 4 core building blocks when creating a successful Shopify print-on-demand business. 1 is niche, 2 is designs, 3 is websites, 4 is marketing. I would build my brand in this order, but here's the critical step that so many brand owners miss. I would then apply the 3R system to each of those 4 building blocks. Yep. The 3R system is a proprietary framework that we created for ourselves and our students, intended to amplify growth and sales. Like, who doesn't want that, right? The 3 R's, they stand for research, reverse engineer, recreate. You want to apply this 3R system to each of the 4 building blocks. So I'm just going to call it the 3RS moving forward, okay, for simplicity. And I want to go through each of those building blocks and show you what that would look like, what it would look like blending the building block with the 3R system.
Let's go.
All right. Building block number 1. Step 1 is choosing a niche. So let's say my niche is female cat lovers, and I'm going to create funny t-shirts for female cat lovers. Once I've determined this, I'll 3RS the niche. So Let's talk about what that looks like. First, research. I'll research and write down 5 to 10 successful brands in the cat niche that I can use as inspiration. We're going to call these your S10 brands, which stands for successful 10, all right? You're going to have your S. I want everyone, once you determine your niche, to create your S10 successful brands. Next, reverse engineer. I would spend time analyzing these successful S10 brands and their messaging to identify how they're appealing to their target audience of female cat lovers. Next is recreate. I would use these successful brands as inspiration for my brand and my messaging. So let's talk about building block number 2, create designs. So let's say my brand creates the funny t-shirts for female cat lovers. Now it's time to start creating some designs so that I have something to actually sell, right? So here's how we're going to 3RS design creation. First, research. I'll research winning designs in my niche and in other niches that I can use as inspiration and save all these viral designs to a folder, all right? We don't want you to waste any time. Like, if you're just doing design research, looking at designs and then just closing it out and not doing anything about it, you're going to have to keep repeating the same work, right? This is to help you avoid having to repeat the same work. It's like a one and done. You should always be doing it, but anytime you do find those viral style designs, you do want to add them to a folder so that you can reference them when you're getting ready to start creating designs. Exactly. Secondly, reverse engineer. So you want to spend time going through and dissecting each of these designs to understand why they're making so many darn sales, right? We want you to be making those sales. We want to be making those sales. How are these designs making so many sales? What do they have in common? Pay attention to things like the phrase, the design style, the design size, the placement, the font style, color, product, mock-ups, product style, decoration type. Is it printed or embroidered? Are you noticing that they combine two or more niches that have large overlapping audiences? We call this niche stacking, and it can be a very powerful sales strategy. For example, maybe you'll see that a best-selling design mentions cats and books, cats and tea, cats and coffee, cats and plants. You want to pay attention to these things because many times if you can appeal to two large overlapping audiences with one single design, man, we've had that take our brand to another level. We've seen that take other brands to another level as well. It's extremely, extremely powerful. Next is recreate. I would recreate original designs for my niche inspired by these winning designs, and I would do that for every single one. We don't want you to copy or steal. It's not okay to copy or steal designs, but it's totally okay to use them as inspiration to create new original designs for your niche. And sometimes that's going to be your S10 brands. You're going to see what they're doing. You're going to reverse engineer. You're going to recreate designs that are inspired by their winners. But sometimes it's going to be designs in completely different niches, right? If you're researching some brands in the dog niche, for example, and you're in the cat niche, and you find a phrase, let's say, that references, or even a design that references a dog, would it be as simple as changing out the word dog for cat? If it went viral for them for a dog, there's a good likelihood that it could go viral for cats as well, right? And now you're creating a completely original design for a totally different niche. Whew. Carlos, anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you brought up that you don't just look at your immediate direct competitors. You can also look at close competitors or sideline competitors, because there's like, for instance, if you're in the cat niche, why not look at dog brands? It's still a pet, and there's still a lot of similarities there on how, like, the feelings that people have about their pets, right? Whether it's a dog or a cat. And so, there's a lot of nuances there, that a lot of funny things that both animals do, or funny things that may be similar to another funny thing that another animal does. But if you're in another niche, say you're in the running niche, looking at the gym niche makes sense, right? It's another niche that's physically active niche. And if you're in the sports niche, if you're in the basketball niche, looking at the baseball niche or the football niche, anything like that where there's similarities, take those and look at those competitors in those other niches as well. Sometimes you won't be able to find enough competitors in your specific niche that are directly competing with you. And in that case, you look at those side competitors.
Yeah, such a good point. Okay, let's move on to building block number 3. So this is step number 3. You're going to build your website. So I would build an MVP website. That means minimal viable product. Minimal viable product. All right. It doesn't have to be anything too complex. Remember, you can be updating your website anytime, right? But really what we want is something that is trustworthy, that looks professional, and that people actually want to buy from, right? So I would build an MVP website using a free pre-made Shopify template called Dawn. There's a number of free templates, Shopify templates. Dawn is our personal favorite. This is probably the most popular, and it's probably the most popular with apparel brands. What we love about these templates, they call them themes, is most of the work is done for you. And from there, you can just make any title changes using their simple drag and drop editor and selection tools for things like fonts, colors, and styles. Now, here's how I would 3RS website creation. First, research. I'll research the S10 brands' websites. So that list of 10 successful brands in my niche, I would research their websites, then reverse engineer. I'll reverse engineer aspects of their websites that are easy to do in my theme, in my Dawn theme, in that template I'm using. For example, pay attention to what they have in their announcement bar at the top of their website. Pay attention to where their call to action buttons like shop now are located, what colors they're using, what mock-ups they're using, or what their mock-ups look like, what the website navigation looks like, what products or styles they're selling. There's so much you can dissect here, and anything super complicated on there, you're gonna have to avoid that, all right? There's a lot of bells and whistles on websites, even a lot of the really successful websites that you absolutely do not need, and we wouldn't recommend because it's a waste of time. People are not buying your website, they're buying your products. So, a lot of these successful brands, they actually might have an entire team, right? And they have one person dedicated to making the website look really, really pretty. But all we need is it to look trustworthy, professional, and convert. That's what it comes down to. And simple wins across the board in everything, including websites. We've seen a lot of simple websites that are making a lot of sales, and we've seen a lot of pretty websites that are making 0 sales. Which one do you want? Right?
Yeah.
And it took a lot less time to create the simple website that's making all the sales, all right? The third part in the 3R system for website creation is recreate. So I would recreate my own simple original website using the Dawn theme in Shopify. It's free and Shopify supports it. So if you need help with it, you can always talk to Shopify support 24/7. But I would take inspiration from these successful brands' websites.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, my favorite topic, one of my favorite topics, and that is marketing. So we're going to 3RS marketing for you guys, and we want you to just take this and run with it. Take all of this and run with it, all right? So marketing, let's talk about it. I know my niche. My niche is cat lovers. I've created some designs, funny designs for female cat lovers. I've built a simple MVP Shopify website. It's time to drive traffic to my products. So I would start by choosing one primary platform to acquire customers, one secondary platform to retain customers, and I would commit to mastery of just those 2 platforms. I would choose Instagram as my primary platform, and I would choose email marketing as my secondary platform. Here's how I would 3RS marketing, all right? So we're gonna start with content marketing, then we'll talk about paid marketing, then we'll talk about email marketing. Let's break it down. Content marketing, research. I'll open up the S10 brands Instagram accounts on my computer. This isn't as easy on a phone, so I'm specifically stating I would do this on my laptop or my desktop, all right? I would select the post tab on Instagram, and I would hover over to see the engagement and identify outliers. I'd also go to the Reels tab on Instagram of these S10 brands, and I would do the same thing. I would hover over and I would look for outlier videos that had significantly outperformed their average video. So that's what an outlier is. It's a video or a post that significantly outperforms that brand's average. So let's say you're looking at their Reels and you're scrolling over, you're looking at all the Reels views, and the average is, let's say, 1,500, right? 1,500 views per reel on average, just a general ballpark. You don't need to crunch the numbers or anything. Keep it simple, right? Just think, you'll figure out the average pretty quickly, roughly, right? So figure out the rough average and then look for outliers. If their rough average is 1,500 and then you see one of the reels that has 150,000, well, I mean, that's obviously an outlier, right? And that's an extreme outlier. When I talk about outlier, I mean maybe 5 times their average. So, not everything has to be super crazy viral. Of course, the more of an outlier it is, really the better in a lot of cases. So you do want to look for that outlier content, because really here's the thing. No matter how the algorithm changes, outlier content has and continues to be the best way to gain targeted followers and grow your account organically. As I'm researching, I would also save all of those outlier posts to a folder. This is also very important. You're taking the time to do the research, right? Now let's start saving all the work that you've done so that you don't have to go back and look at the exact same stuff, right?
Yeah.
So save those posts, those posts, outlier reels to a folder, all right? You can also save them in Instagram. There's a little save icon for posts, so you can do that as well. So that was the research. Now reverse engineer. I'd actually spend time going through this outlier content to understand why it went viral. Like, what does this content have in common? That's what you want to look for, right? Are you starting to notice that a lot of it is funny and relatable? Are you starting to notice that they call out the niche in the first 3 seconds? Are you starting to notice that it's funny quotes or funny memes, or, that it always features cats if I'm researching cat brands? Like, what is it? What are some common trends? The bigger sample size you have, so the more examples you have, the more you can start paying attention to those trends, and you'll start noticing things pop out. Like, for example, something we call the low-hanging fruit of content creation is funny and relatable content for your niche. Man, this has always and will always perform well.
Yeah.
Because people love content that's super relevant to them, and especially content that makes them laugh. It's 2 things that people love. They love stuff that's relevant, and they love stuff that makes them laugh. You put the 2 together, boom, you have magic, right? And this is one of many trends that we notice when we are analyzing this outlier content. Many times, it's funny and relatable content for that particular niche. Next, recreate. So we did research, we did reverse engineer, now we're doing recreate. I'd use this outlier content as inspiration to create content for my brand's Instagram account. So I would have that folder of examples. I would use this inspiration. I would batch create a bunch of content, all inspired by that outlier content. And then I would start posting that content to my feed, right? Carlos, we're going to keep going with marketing, but I'm going to stop here for a second, see if there's anything that you want to add.
No, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep it rolling with marketing. So let's talk about paid ads, all right? Here's how I would 3RS paid ads. So first, research. I would go to the Facebook ads library. You can just Google Facebook ads library, click on the link, it'll take you to the Facebook ads library. From here, you can actually type in the name of a brand. And if that brand is running ads, they'll come up in the Facebook ads library.
Yep.
And not only that, it's actually going to show you their active ads. How crazy is that? It's like the ultimate spying on your competitors. Like, I feel like we should have to pay for this access, right? But it's a totally free tool, and we want you to use this. So I'd go to the Facebook ads library, type in the brand name of my S10 brands, each individually, and then research their active ads. If their ads are active, especially if they've been running for long periods of time, there's a high likelihood that they're also profitable, right?
Yep.
Most brands aren't going to keep running ads to non-profitable content, right? Non-profitable ads. So the longer they've been running for, the more likely it is that it's profitable. Some brands, they're going to be testing new ads and then they might kill them after a day or two. But if you see an ad that's been going for months, there's a high likelihood that that is actually a profitable ad. So
Totally.
Next is reverse engineer. I'd spend time studying their ads and paying particular attention to the product, the design, and the creative. So what does the ad actually say? What does the headline say? What does the call to action say? You want to pay attention to these different elements because success leaves clues, right? So I want to pay attention. I want to dissect and reverse engineer all the elements of these ads and then recreate. I would use those ads as inspiration when creating my own paid ads. Like if I know that ad is profitable and it's making them a lot of sales, there's magic there. What is the magic? I want to reverse engineer and recreate that magic, but in my own original way for my brand. Carlos, I feel like you have some things to say about this. You're a big paid ads guy. Tell me what you got.
Yeah, no, I would look at certain things. I would look at the context on the ad. Like, how are they framing the context? Like, is it like if it's an ad for gym wear, is it someone at the gym, and where are they at the gym? What type of person does it look like? What's the description for the product, and what's the context? What's the description for the brand? And then another thing too, like in the text, if they're using testimonials, what kinds of testimonials are there? Like what value proposition are they actually providing with the testimonial? Like they're intentionally going to be putting testimonials that have some sort of value proposition that more people are looking for.
Right.
And so they're in the testimonial, they're going to be very careful about which testimonial they put. And so if you find what testimonial is working for them, maybe it's been running for like 5 months straight, one ad with a certain testimonial and maybe a certain image, then try a similar combination. Like if it's an image of a certain person, certain type of person at a certain place. So like a young muscular guy at a gym in front of some barbells, and it has a testimony about like how this shirt lets him express his Christian belief. Then
you're talking about whole strength, my friend.
Then go ahead. Like there's probably something powerful there, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably something powerful there. And so make a different version for yourself. I mean, there's other ones too. There's say a young girl wearing Adrian, you can probably guess which one this is. Young girl wearing an oversized sweater, big cross on it, and it's talking about her being able to wear this to the coffee shop and meeting with her friends from church.
Elevated faith.
There we go.
I like this game. This game. This is awesome.
You can make a game of it.
Yeah. But how cool is that for the brand too? That all you have to give me is a couple prompts and I know which brand it is. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. Yeah. Whole strength, elevated faith, two extremely successful brands, both faith-based. Yeah. So that's their niche, but it's interesting. They niche down further. Whole strength is actually cross niche. So it's actually for Christians who love to lift, Christian gym enthusiasts. And then elevated faith is more like kind of like a cool, trendy Gen Z and millennial Christian brand.
Yeah.
But we digress. We're having too much fun talking about these brands, but let's keep it rolling here. So the next marketing channel, this would be the secondary platform that we're going to 3RS is email marketing. All right. So let's break it down. Research. I'd create a free Gmail account specifically for market research purposes, and I would subscribe to all S10 brands. I don't recommend subscribing through your personal account or even your brand account, because if these brands are really successful, you're probably going to get flooded with emails because successful brands send a lot of emails. Yeah. That is a very common trend. They send a lot of emails.
They're not shy.
Because they are not shy and they are printing money with email marketing, or they wouldn't be doing it, right? And so unless you want to be flooded with emails all the time, I recommend creating this separate free Gmail account and then just for market research, and then subscribe to all those S10 brands. Then at your convenience, when you're like, okay, I'm ready to 3RS email marketing for some brands, you can go over that Gmail account. You'll have a library of content of like emails from successful brands in your niche that you can go through and you can reverse engineer and use as inspiration, right? Yeah. So that's the first thing, research. Next is reverse engineer. I would actually study their email campaigns, paying particular attention to their email subject lines. So what's the first thing you see when you go to your inbox? What's the first couple of words you see? That's the subject line. The subject line is super powerful because if it's not compelling enough, no one's going to click it. And if no one clicks it, no one's going to see your email. And if no one sees your email, no one's going to buy your products from that email, right? It's like a funnel. You have to get them to click the headline before they get to, it's almost gate kept, right? Before they get to the body. So you want to pay attention to the email subject lines, the body, the call to action, any promos that they're doing, how they're advertising their promos, if they're implementing scarcity or urgency, what type of emails are they sending? Are they mainly new arrivals emails? Are they promo emails, sales emails, something else? You want to pay attention to these things, right? And you want to identify trends. And then you want to take that over to the third R, recreate, and you want to use those emails as inspiration when creating your own. So that's what I would do. I would look at them, and then I would use those emails as inspiration when creating my own emails. Another little pro tip here, if you've been following these brands for a while and you notice that they're consistently posting like a really similar type of email, there's a good chance that email has been performing very well for them. And that's why they continue to promote it. We have promo emails that we've sent that we know will make sales every single time. They've never not made sales. It's like the equivalent to having a winning design, but it's a winning email promo. And we do this promo every single year because we know that it works, right? And that was actually inspired by another brand. This wasn't something that we just thought, off the top of our head. This is 3RS stuff, all right? We 3RS'd a brand and saw that they did this, and then we had success with it ourselves because success leaves clues. Carlos, before I go any further, what do you want to say?
Yeah, no, I just want to repeat what you said. The most important part is the subject line. The most important part is the subject line. You can just look at the subject lines on all the emails, and once you start seeing patterns, like are they questions? Are they intriguing? Are they leading? Are they teasing about something? The subject line is the most important because that's what gets people to open. And big brands, they'll start repeating themselves in terms of the subject lines. Like they'll start looking similar to other subject lines for other emails, and you'll start seeing the patterns. And then also on top of that, you want to look at the lead in. So the first paragraph, because that's going to determine whether people are going to scroll down and read the rest of the email.
And maybe it's just a headline at the top of the email that's really catchy.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Maybe it's just a big, beautiful lifestyle image of someone wearing one of the products just to catch your eye, catch the attention right away, like hook you in with this epic design. Maybe it's a seasonal design, it's an on-trend design, I don't know, a new arrival. Many times that's what you're going to see at the top. You're just going to see images. They want to hook you in. Yep. Success leaves clues. By modeling successful brands, you will significantly increase the likelihood of creating a successful brand yourself. This strategy that we just talked about, everything that we just broke down, this is the exact strategy that we would use in 2026 if we had to start a brand from scratch. This strategy completely changed our lives, and we hope it does the same for you. So if you enjoyed this strategy episode and you're ready to dominate in 2026, which we hope you are, I recommend checking out our free 60-minute on-demand training called How to Make Your First $10,000 with Shopify and Print on Demand, which we're going to link in the show notes as we always do. On there, we reveal the strategy that we use to generate multiple millions in sales across 2 apparel brands with Shopify and Print on Demand. Also, if you're ready to take action to start or grow your brand and you're looking for coaching, community, and accountability, there is an opportunity at the end of that class to join our training and coaching program called T-Shirt Legends Academy. So if you want direct coaching from Carlos and I, personalized coaching for your brand to expedite the growth process, you can learn more about that class and decide if TLA is a good fit for you. You can register for that training by clicking the link below in the show notes or by going to ecomlegendsacademy.com/grow. With that, we're signing off. Thank you for listening. Remember to start before you're ready, take imperfect action, and know that you're always one design away.
Hey, if you're loving the Print on Demand podcast and want more, please help us out by rating this on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening from. It only takes a minute, and this is one of the best ways to support the show and let us know that you're enjoying these weekly episodes. Thank you in advance, and we'll talk soon.